Good morning, everyone. I would like to compliment all the participants and to give a special thanks to our colleagues which are hosting the conference. My name is Dulce and we are going to present KABADA, a business model tool to support entrepreneurs, myself, Anna, and Sandra. Okay. This is our agenda, the purpose, the theoretical framework, methodology, findings, research and practical implications, and then the value. About the purpose, this presentation aims to explore the business model's framework, its derivations, adaptations, and drawbacks. Then to identify the success factors, as well as general faults, pitfalls and difficulties that may assist the preparation of business ideas, both in higher education institutions and business incubators. And finally, to present a theoretical base for a digital online tool. About the theoretical framework. Well, when we started this project, we started by researching the business models that exist. And since me, Anna, and Sandra, we teach entrepreneurship, innovation, strategic management, we were familiar with the business models. But we started by doing a literature review to see which ones were the most common in papers and which were the recent developments. We started with business model canvas with Osterwalder, Pinner, and Clark, and they actually say that business model frameworks have been created in order to simplify the process, in order to allow a visual structure. It's kind of a synthesis of all the components that must enter a business model. And because we have all this in a canvas, this actually simplifies the visual process. About the methodology. As I was talking about, we started with a literature review and we also focused not only on the business models themselves, but also on the strategic perspective of the use of a business model in order to capture the most relevant factors to evaluate the success or failure. We know that business models are most common today, and we started talking about business models more since more or less year 2000, but before that we already had business models with another terminology. For instance, if we think about Michael Porter, he already talked about the value chain analysis, and in this value chain analysis he focused on value creation. He said that we have the primary activities, the secondary activities, and then we have that margin that is which is the difference between what customers are willing to pay and what the company is actually having to provide, and the cost structure. This is not something that is has happened just 2 or 3 or 5 years ago. It comes from the 1980s. This logic of the business models. About the findings. Well, we actually researched for different business models, and we concluded that only by preparing an extensive framework of questions and answers, and those questions and answers have to be objectively evaluated. Only that way we can have a glimpse of the success chances of the business venture. We also concluded that there is not one part of the business model that is more relevant than the others. All parts are important. We can take the example of the business model canvas. In the business model canvas, we cannot focus only on the customers or only on the value proposition or only in the key partners and activities and resources. We cannot, we have to balance the cost revenue, the cost structure and the revenue streams. And only with this balance, we have also a balanced structure of the proposition of the startup, for instance. We also came to the conclusion that literature points out key success factors and risks, and these could be categorized in these 4 items. First, factors related with the business model itself, especially with the innovative business model. Then strategy-related factors, and this is very important, of course, because the company does not exist only in itself. It exists in an environment. It exists, as some of our colleagues already said today, we have external, we have internal factors, and we have to have this strategic fit between external and internal factors. So it's fundamental to have this strategic related perspective. For instance, Luisa and Teresa, Kristaps, Yanis, you all talked about this fit that we need between internal and external factors. We also have a category of new ventures, external linkages, and finally, we can also categorize the success and the risk factors in the different blocks of the business model canvas. They are different as we step the business model canvas. Now Anna is going to present these key success factors and risks.
Okay. In this table, we try to summarize the literature review. Starting, we have 3 columns because we identify the categories, then the key success factors, and the key risks. Starting with the category of innovative business model, authors identified as key success factors the differentiation, It is very important to differentiate our business model, our products, services, distribution channels, etc., to make them difficult to imitate. This is very important, and the authors refer to the difficult replication of business models. Then the capability of adaptation to dynamic and changing environments, that is related with the ability to adapt to dynamic and changing environments. For example, the recent pandemic situation is a good example of how important the ability to adapt and respond to unforeseen events that occur and that can completely transform our business. Finally, the last key success factor is related with the patents, research and development. As key risks, we could find the disruptive innovation arising in the market because they are disruptive, and in many cases these innovations are not successful in the market due to they are too innovative, the innovative shelter, or because they raise sometimes ethical problems. In the strategy category, we can find in the literature some key success factors, such as the strategic adjustment between the business model and the business strategy. That is essential for the company's activities to run stably, and it is equally important to understand future trends and needs, so that we can meet the needs of our customers. Sustainable innovations in the company's business practices, production process, or through products developed with new sustainable technologies is related with the circular economy and shared economy. In order to contribute to sustainable development and comply with international defined objectives, it's very important too. We cannot neglect it either, the customer orientation. As a risk factor, we have the unit sales margin that are not aligned with competitors. In the next category, the external links from new ventures, the authors identified as key success factors the existence of networks. These networks could be internal or and external, industrial relations, and for example, government relations too. And they identify too the ability to combine resources, the business model projects focused on efficiency and innovation, the experimentation and implementation process, and finally the organizational change leadership. In the category of business model canvas, we could, the authors identify also the value for the target customers of the business model's value proposition, the sufficient size of market conditions, and the value proposition. That is the essential resources and capabilities, the distribution channels, the key activities, prices and services, revenue sources, and cost structure, as we could find in the Canvas business model. As a key risk, the following are identified: the inefficiency in the design of business model and the false assumption about distribution channels, cost structure, unit margins, and speed of innovation. Key partners are also a very important key success factor. And in this category, we can consider, for example, the collaboration between companies, the inter-firm collaboration that can be vertical or horizontal, taking into account whether this collaboration between supply chain partners, for example, suppliers or even customers, or if it is a partnership with competitors, for example. Partners may also involve other companies or government or educational institutions in joint planning. In the sharing of benefits and risks, in the stability and the reliability, share systematic work information, control of work between companies, the mutual establishment of corporate culture, and so on. The behavior of cooperation with successful companies.
Sorry, you are out of time, so it's almost 20 minutes of your presentation. Please switch to conclusions.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's also a webinar, yes, so we are...
I will try to conclude. Okay. Okay. Oh, well, I don't know where I am. Well, in the resource and initial capital category, companies can finance themselves in different ways, and the authors identify as key success factor the obtaining microfinance capital, either using personal or family savings, for example. On the other hand, innovation financing can be asset-based or factoring, purchase order financing, and so on. Finally, in the cost structure category, the authors identify the main success factors: balance between offering value to customers and capturing value through well-designed financial indicators, uniform cost structure, and the importance of planning for unexpected costs, which can always occur. Of course, it is normal to have these unexpected costs. Well, I will pass the words to Dulce.
Thanks, Anna. I will finish in 1 minute. The research and practical implications of this work, basically they are this theoretical proposal of a new digital online tool that may have impact on the preparation of such tools and in higher education and business incubators, entrepreneurial support. The goal, the aim is to allow entrepreneurs to decide whether to invest their time and money in a specific business model or reshape it, considering the information gathered regarding the different parts. So this is our basic value, is this proposition. We have lots of references here. We just have a few of them, and thank you for your attention. We are available to answer any questions that you may have.